In good old Teesside tradition, we say now then, brand new season of RedArmy.TV. Brand new set, a brand new league, unfortunately, but a brand new set of hope and optimism for Middlesbrough fans. Famous red couch is still here, the red settee, as the Vic has called it. Robert from Flyme, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
And Joe, our regular contributor who's been down under. I've got to ask you about Sheila's and beer, mate. Is it true what they say about Australia?
Yeah, every word.
But you were there 6 months, yeah?
About 4, yeah.
And you enjoyed it, did you?
Yeah, really good.
Okay, he sampled the Sheilas and the beer. That's what he said live on RedArmy.TV. Fellas, brand new season, brand new manager, brand new players, brand new wadge of cash been spent. I'm loving the season already, Robert. Are you?
It's been really exciting, close season. I wouldn't have envisaged this back in May. We'd had an absolutely disaster.
It was a stinker, wasn't it?
Appalling to wait all that time and then just throw it away. But this summer's been brilliant with the new manager and then the players coming in. There's been a real buzz around the place.
Joe, it's been so fantastic a summer as far as the Boro's concerned. I haven't taken a holiday, unlike you, of course, who spent many months in Australia. Are you getting carried away by it?
It's probably been the most exciting pre-season I can remember as a Middlesbrough fan. I mean, new manager, probably the most sought-after young British manager that was out there. Record signing, a list of other new signings. It's been great, and everyone's really looking forward to the kick-off on Saturday. And we haven't even started yet, and everyone's already talking about promotion.
We've already kicked off a few times in pre-season. Let's forget most of the stuff where you're mixing and matching teams. Let's focus on the last game, which was Augsburg. Nice to play a Bundesliga team, nice to come back from behind, and nice to win a game. Absolutely.
Nice to win the game in the last few seconds, and nice to get so many of those new players, see them in action and successful, and Braithwaite scoring a goal, and it's everything you would have hoped for the last friendly.
There's no point me asking the man next door what he thinks of the game, because he's already given his match report. So let's catch up with Joe and his views outside the Riverside after that Augsburg game.
Outside at the Riverside following Boro's 2-1 victory over FC Augsburg, their final game of pre-season before the championship campaign kicks off next week. And overall, we've learned quite a lot of the formation and the side that Garry Monk is probably likely to play for that opening championship game. He went with the 4-3-3 formation with Britta Sombolonga, Patrick Bamford and Martin Braithwaite as the front three, interchanging positions in that first half. It was quite a slow start from Boro, fell behind after just a couple of minutes when a corner was only half cleared, and it was put home by the FC Augsburg player. A good finish from quite a tight angle, but Boro saw more of the ball as the game went on, most of the width coming from the fullbacks, in particular on the right hand side through Cyrus Christie. It was his cross midway through the first half that set up Martin Braithwaite to equalise. Braithwaite was quite lively, cutting in from the left, getting into some good positions, but it wasn't until the closing stages of the game that substitute Ashley Fletcher put some pressure on the Augsburg back line, won the ball and squared it for Adam Forshaw to make it 2-1 and give Middlesbrough the victory.
So plenty of smiles after the game last weekend at the Riverside. Plenty of smiles all round. We're a happy bunch now. We've got lots to look forward to, including attacking football. Thank you, Mr. Monk. But we've also got some big names. Joe, we smashed the Boro's transfer record to bring Super Britt Assombalonga in from Forest. What have you made of him so far?
Well, he's the man, isn't he, that everyone's expecting to get the 20-plus goals to fire us to promotion. It's a very different strategy, I think, which Monk's going for compared to Karanka. I think the top scorer the season we went up last time was Nugent. I think he only got about 9 goals. But this season we brought in Assombalonga, Braithwaite, Bamford is already there. We've still got Gusted and Fletcher's come in. So that forward line, we've got so many options there now. And Assombalonga's the one that we've spent a lot of money on and people will expect to perform, but there are so many options there and so many different formations that Monk can choose in that front line.
Now, I know you don't normally look at men's fingers, Robert, particularly their fingernails, but you can see they've been bitten a little bit. And when we talk about record-breaking transfer fees and strikers coming into the Borough, you start thinking of Afonso Alves and things like that. But different kettle of fish is Sombolonga. He seems as though he's done it before in this country.
Yeah. He scored loads and loads of goals. It was Peterborough, wasn't it, first of all?
Yeah.
And he's got a real presence. Physical attributes, and also we've got Patrick Bamford, who was out it was the last player to really score a lot of goals as a Boro scorer. I reckon Stu Arney was the top scorer in our promotion season, but it wasn't many goals between
over 10, was it? Yeah.
So we got Patrick Bamford as well. So who's been training all summer, hasn't he? And it was just it was a big barrier for him when he scored that goal towards the end of the season. Yeah. So an awful lot to look forward to from him as well.
It looks like Monk's going to play. He's going to be able to fit them all in with the 4-3-3 that potentially he's going to be playing this season. Yeah,
and encouraging the fullbacks to get up. So tighten those three up front as well and get your fullbacks coming on. It's exciting stuff. What's also exciting is the thought that Boro are outperforming some Premier League teams when it comes to attracting players. Steve Gibson's been talking on the Boro website. Apologies, Middlesbrough, we've nicked a bit, but we will give you a plug, I promise. And interesting to hear from Gibbo saying, you know, the players who are at the top of his list are the ones they've gone out unusually and got.
We've got our lists. We know the areas that we want to improve, and we have a list. And up to now, we've delivered everybody at the top of that list, which is quite unusual. Normally, you go down a spot or two, but we've up to now hit our main target in every position. Hopefully, we can continue to do that.
Good to see Steve Gibson. Smile on his face as well. If you want to see more of that, mfc.co.uk, of course. The interview in full on the Boro's website, mfc.co.uk. Joe, it's great to see the Boro setting their targets on the list and going out and getting them.
Yeah, well, Steve Gibson said at the end of last season, didn't he? We're going to try and smash the league. That famous quote. And to be fair, he's not really leaving a stone unturned. He's gone out signing a lot of proven Championship players. We haven't even mentioned the likes of Christie, Howson, Randolph, all at least top Championship players, if not players that can step up to the Premier League. So a really exciting squad that he's assembled, and let's hope it can all come together on the pitch. Well,
we'll chat more about that. We're going to go into Wolves, of course, because that's the first game coming up shortly. But it's high time we caught up the news. Sam's got the details.
Over 200 Boro fans enjoyed an evening with Garry Monk and his coaching staff last night at the Riverside. This gave Boro fans the chance to get to know their new manager and his team, along with asking them some serious and not so serious questions. It was a night filled with positivity and laughter, which gave off a vibrant and promising environment.
It's much more quality. There's more quality players coming into this league as well, so it's ultra competitive. But I think what we have here is a really good, solid club, really good, stable club, a real good vision from the owner. And in terms of ourselves working hard with these players, the players definitely have the quality. It's just about getting that confidence back from what was a difficult season for them last year.
Steve Gibson has been pleased with the progress made over the closed season with new manager Garry Monk in charge, and says in terms of activity in the transfer market, the club aren't finished yet.
We knew who we wanted to bring in. We've worked really hard. Everybody at the club's worked really hard, and we've got in the players that we want. We're not finished. There's probably at least another 2 that we want to bring in, possibly 3, and them discussions are ongoing.
Paul Stevenson has been appointed as Boro's new under-23s lead coach. Stevenson was named as the new lead coach this week to officially replace Paul Jenkins, and the new recruit says he'll be wasting no time in outlining his plans for Boro's youngsters. If you have any Boro news you want to share with us, please get in touch. Email news@redarmy.tv or via social media at Boro Red Army.
Thanks for that, Sam. Fellas, I think expectation is the word. Fans obviously getting caught up with all this fervour, this spending money and being favourites to go up further. Not everybody has us, though, as favourites. I don't know whether you saw it, but there was a poll conducted by a Bolton newspaper. The journo called basically a journo who reports on every of the 24 teams. 23 of those journos had the Boro to go up. We'll out the man who didn't reckon we were getting promoted. He was Leon Wobschel from the Yorkshire Post. That's just for you, Leon. And interestingly, Robert, the Northern Echo, Craig Stoddart, has got us down as only finishing in 4th.
Really?
How dare he being so local? Where's your expectation level?
Well, I expect us to go up. I expect us to win the league, but I'm not going to get carried away. We don't know how we've got to adapt to the league. We've got a lot of players to bed into a system. I don't know whether we'll make a flying start. We might not. The whole point is, though, you've got to be there at the end of the season. It's a long season. Are we going to be there at the end, Joe?
Well, like Rob said, I think we'll definitely be challenging. It's a lot harder than some people make out. There's a lot of good teams in the Championship we've seen before, but I think you'd look at it on paper, we've arguably got the strongest starting 11 in the division. But we all know it's a long season. A lot of other teams expect to go up, so we're going to have a lot of competition. But yeah, I definitely think we'll be fighting there for a top 2 spot.
It was interesting during the week, the new manager sitting down with a huge bunch, 200 lucky Boro fans. So things are different. Expectation levels are different. Fans are expectant where they weren't last season in the Premier League. It was more protectionism setting in. We've got a completely new regime with a new attitude, and we'll dig deeper into that in the second half of the programme. But it's time to take a quick break here on Red Army. Don't go too far. Lots to talk about.
You guys can go like this. Da, 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 da. Boro's going up. Da, 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 da. Boro's going up. Da, 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 da. Boro's going up. What do you Smoggies think of SmogShare? Leave a message, subscribe, send me a private inbox, whatever you gotta do. Invite me out for like a Gatorade. For now, it's American Soccer Fan. It's all out.
This is Mackie Jackson, US Soccer Fan. Boro Smog Monsters. Come on, mate, we're not in the Northwest. He didn't say it that time, but fellas, when he does his other ones, it's like Smogsville or whatever he calls us, in the Smog side, that's it.
I'm not sure he's American.
Up in the Northwest. No, we're not. In the Northeast, mate. But it'll be good to have him on the show. He's agreed to come on the show. I think we'll get him on Skype first, and then when he's around, we'll drag him in. It'll be the first time ever a West Ham fan sat on the couch.
West Ham.
Yeah, we'll have to put some like polythene back.
Yeah.
We'll have to cover the chair. We don't want it, really soiled at all, do we? Fellas, we talked expectation in the before the break. Huge expectation levels. You can tell that because season ticket sales, the cards, season cards, I'm old, season cards, 18,000 of them snapped up pretty quickly. Wolves tickets went for sale, they went almost immediately. 200 fans go and meet the gaffer and have a chat. They disappeared faster than a puff of smoke. Have we got to be careful not to get too carried away?
I think it's good to be excited, especially after last season, and everyone's looking forward to winning games and scoring goals, everything. But I think we do need to keep our feet on the ground because we've got a fantastic squad. We should succeed, but there's no guarantees, and it could take us time. As I've said before, it could take us time to find our feet.
I'm super excited, Joe. And I'm for one clicking on that. Oh, we did a poll just to tell you. We'll dig it out. A poll on Red Army TV's Twitter page. The question was, where will we end up at the end of this coming season? 68% said we'll finish top, we're going to smash it. 21% second, so promotion. 9% in the playoffs, a couple of percent reckons we weren't even going to get there. So we are super excited, super expectant. Could there be a big fat banana skin for us to slip on?
Hopefully not, but I think you can see where the excitement's coming from. People are looking forward to seeing a Garry Monk, Middlesbrough side, more attacking football as well. Looking forward to seeing the new signing, the list of new players we brought in. There is a lot to be excited about, but as I said before, it is a very tough league. And as I said, on paper, we've probably got the strongest side, but there are other clubs in there. The likes of Aston Villa have also spent money. Wolves have spent a lot of money. So, it's not going to be easy, but I think we'll be thereabouts. Yeah,
okay. Well, you did say about Garry Monk. 200 fans did flock into the Riverside during the week to have a chat with him. We saw a bit of that earlier. The club are going to serialise that, so if you want to find out more, www.mfc.co.uk is where you can find out more about the new gaffer and have a listen to him chatting to the fans. It's high time to catch up with what you've been saying on the old social tweeting land. Matt has been sitting there casting a cool eye over what's been on the screen.
Well, it's a new season and more social media has been coming into us here at Red Army TV. And how else to start but with the friendly at the weekend against FC Augsburg, and a lot of comments on Twitter surrounding that match. Starting off with Garry Monk, he said, "Good way to end pre-season and introduce our project to a supportive Riverside. Now for the first game of what will be a very tough season." David Adams has said, "Good pre-season, finished off with a competitive game with FC Augsburg. Looking forward to the start of the season." A bit of controversy at the match when Gaston got brought on and there was a few boos around the stadium. Never went unnoticed on the social media comments. Starting off with Size Insight, he said, "I would never dream of booing a Boro player ever." And Joe Hurst has said, I'd rather have Gaston at the club than those booing him from the stands. Keep your social media comments coming in to us here at Boro Red Army using the hashtag RedArmyTV. And if you've got any video rants you want to add in, send them to us at studio@redarmy.tv. Back to you, Dave.
Thanks for that, Matt. Plenty of good stuff to tell you about this coming season on Red Army. A few initiatives we're involved in, and right here, right now, immediately I've got to salute El Presidente, the rock monster that is Steve Rock, the guru of Middlesbrough Official Supporters Club. He's officially become the first sitter downer on our first Red Army coach. We're going to take a coach to every away game this season, not counting Wolves, after Wolves.
Yeah.
We didn't get sorted out in time. Screens, telly. There'll be Red Army on there. We'll be doing interactive quizzes. We're going to make a bit of a theme of it and a thing about it. So Rocky called just before we came into the studio and said, can I have a seat, please? And when he found out he was the first one to book, he wanted a mention. So hope that's good enough for you, mate. Right, fellas. So we've got high expectations, but I'm sure other teams will have expectations as well. Joe, who do you think is going to be up there pushing for top spot with us?
Well, immediately you look at the other teams that have come down, don't you? But Sunderland, not in a great position right now.
And tipped to go down again by some.
I don't think they'll go down. I think maybe mid-table is what I'd predict, but certainly not in, I don't think, as strong a position as we are. Hull will probably be challenging thereabouts. As I said before, Villa spent a lot of money, Wolves have spent a lot of money, Sheffield Wednesday are always in and around there, so there will be plenty of competition, that's for sure.
Yeah, we know it's an absolute futile case to try and predict somebody to finish ahead of the Boro, Robert. We might as well end the season now, just give us promotion, I don't mind. But no, we'll hang around and see some goals. Who else, though, will be pushing us?
I think Fulham finished very strongly last season. I don't think they'll be too disappointed by the playoff defeat because they're pushed to get into there. I think also there's usually a team that comes up from the division below that carries the momentum forward.
Should we be fearful that we might not make the top two? Or are we strong enough on what we're seeing?
We shouldn't be fearful. We shouldn't go into a season fearful, surely.
Yeah, put me in my place. Why don't you? That's fine. It was a stupid question to ask. But are we going to see one of those seasons, Joe, where there might be 3 or 4 real top teams, or are we really ticking that first box and you're saying, yeah, Villa maybe, Fulham maybe, etc.?
We never know. We never know until a ball is kicked, and it's always, you know, we've got a very strong squad by the look of it on paper, but they need to gel. And I think we said before that the start maybe always isn't that important. You know, we've seen teams in the past come from a long way back, from around Christmas time, but yeah, you never know. You never know. We've definitely got a very strong squad. It looks promising, but yeah, it's not going to be easy for sure.
Well, you know, you said until a ball's kicked. Well, there you go.
There
It has
you go.
been. So we're going to get you off that fence, and you're going to tell us more about it. Polls wise, let's focus on Wolves. We asked the question, and it's still current on Twitter. The question that needs asking: will we win on Saturday? 72% yes. This was at the time we printed the piece of paper out. It can change, but 28%. So not insignificant chunk thinking we might not win the first game of the season.
It's a hard place. The whole of the Midlands, I always think, has been difficult for Middlesbrough in the past. We did win there last time 3-1, but we turned the match around, as I recall, in the second half when
3-1.
Yeah, when certain fellas, Stuart Downing, came on and who'd been dropped. So
He might be in the Midlands by the time. But
so it's a tricky start, as Joe said. They're a strong team. That they've spent big. They've got a new manager. They've got their own expectation. So it's a good test to start with, I think.
If it's Gattucks, it's got to be Molyneux, hasn't it? Instead of Molyneux, where they got that U from, I don't know. What are you expecting there?
It's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Make no doubt about it. They're at home. They're going to be up for it. We're the promotion favourites, so they've got high expectations like we have. So really not a very easy start. So to be honest with you, a draw is not a bad result, I don't think.
I'm full of beans. I always am at the start of a season. Last season was a bit different, but the start of the season, and I'm still full of beans. So fully expectant that we're going to go there, of course, and have a 4-0 victory. But there's a big change, isn't there, Robert? There's a new coach, there's a new system, there are new players, plenty of new players. It's not beyond the realms of possibility that it may take us a few games to start gelling.
I'm hoping that the players that have been there and seen it before and got promotion are the players that are going to settle us in. You think of, and there's a few of those players that have been experienced as captain even, you know, so Ben Gibson, George Friend, and Grant Ledbetter, and Adam Forshaw and Adam Clayton, sort of leaders on the pitch in many respects. And actually, we should say that Johnny Howson probably gives us something that we haven't had before, is somebody that can score goals potentially from midfield. So yeah, I'm going there full
You're
of
cautiously
expectation.
optimistic.
Yeah,
it
cautiously
sounds like.
optimistic. Yeah, absolutely.
What about it, Joe? I mean, if we don't pick up a victory or two in the first 3 or 4 games, is it something we should be concerned about?
Not massively. I think we said before there are sides in the past that have come from a long way back. I mean, you look at Burnley that year, they went up when we went up last time. They were around Christmas time, what were they, about 9 points behind us? And then they came back in the second half of the season and won the league. Newcastle last season, they lost, I think, the first 2 games and came back and won the division. So, it's not vital to make a good start. It's good, but teams can come from a couple of points back midway through the season.
Fellas, just before we get your predictions, I said lots of initiatives we're involved in. One is Five-a-Side Challenge, the Red Army Five-a-Side Challenge, Saturday the 7th of October, international weekend, so don't worry, you're not missing a Boroughs game. We've hired out goals in Middlesbrough. Get onto it, get your teams in, pub teams, friends, work, whatever it is. We want to see 48 teams subscribing and having a great time. You'll be on the telly as well. Very shortly, predictions. Where are you going for Saturday?
1-1.
1-1. Robert?
2-1.
2-1.
Borough.
Well, I'm full of beans. I'm full of win, definitely. So I'm going to go for the 3-1 victory, just to replicate what we did 2 years ago. Catch you next week. See you.